Hey look, anime Dr. Mommy, I high-key need that audience retention. But anyways, now that I have your attention, I watched Akudama Drive and it was pretty good. So hopefully you'll sit here and listen to me rant and rave over it. Akudama Drive is this sci-fi anime, and in this sci-fi world you have bad guys or criminals called Akudama. Some of them have powers, nothing too outlandish. Like one character is super strong, I think his name was Brawler, and he was a brawler. He could fight and he was strong and he beat people up and all that good stuff. And there was also the doctor, I think I already showed her. She was able to stitch herself up and cut people into little pieces, and that's pretty cool. We all know who you're simping over. And then you have the executioners, and their whole entire job is to take out the Akudama. In this anime, we basically follow this chick who somehow gets roped into being an Akudama. She ends up teaming up with other Akudama and doing some crazy mission, and it just takes off from there. And I wonder how many times I'm going to say Akudama in this video. I'm sure it's going to be a lot. But I personally believe that the plot of Akudama Drive drug like crazy in the beginning. Like, I will straight up tell you, it was kind of boring. Now, after completely finishing the anime, I am eating my words, because it steadily started to ramp up more and more, and eventually it got me completely hooked. During the later episodes, it just got really good. The anime definitely took this giant 180, going from the start, which was very, very average, and like I said, I would even call it boring, to improving like crazy, and eventually having an ending that was rather meaningful, and it kind of tugged at my heartstrings a little bit, and it left me wanting more. I don't think there's going to be a season 2. It didn't have an ending that would be left open for a season 2. It had a pretty clear-cut ending, but I do kind of want a season 2. I want to be one of those people that's always wanting that season 2. But plot stuff out of the way, I really have to touch on the action, and it was also pretty good. You have some gunfights, fist fights, and I think knife fights as well, and you know, people die and all that, which is pretty average stuff, but I feel like they pulled it off relatively well. Even though I say it was average, each time there was some action, it always got my undivided attention. I usually do a whole bunch of other stuff while I'm watching anime, like playing games or anything like that, and I'll have anime on the background, but I can say during Akudama Drive, when there was some action, it did get my attention fully, because I definitely liked how they pulled off the action. Even though it was, you know, a little average, it was still really good. And of course, when you talk about action in anime, you also have to touch on the animation, and I honestly have zero complaints when it comes to the animation, and I'm sure you can see what I'm talking about, you know, up on screen, and as you can see, it is really smooth and all of that good stuff. You know, you can't have good action without some good animation, because it'll just look all choppy and gross. So Akudama Drive definitely had some good animation. I also have to compliment them on the explosions. They had some like Michael Bay type stuff going on. Definitely really enjoyed those explosions. Had to be one of my favorite parts. Anyways, I think I have complimented this anime enough, and now I have to talk about the one negative thing that I really, really hated. And this negative thing for me is massive, and that is the censorship. Good God, the censorship was egregious. And if you haven't seen any of my videos before, I hate, and I mean undoubtedly hate, censorship in anime. And like I said, Akudama Drive did censorship in such an egregious way, and it was just really annoying. I'm sure I've shown it by now, but when anything intense would happen, bam, there's this black streak, and it's so noticeable and in your face sometimes. They would censor stuff that wasn't even that bad, like a normal stab. Like, come on, man, you're taking away from the anime. And I bring this up all the time. If this is an adult anime with adult themes and it's directed towards adults, then you don't have to censor it. I'm sure adults can handle animated violence, because that's all it is, animated violence. It's not that bad, I promise. And I believe an uncensored version has came out, but I think it took like a year to come out, and unfortunately for me, the uncensored version wasn't on my totally legal anime streaming site I use, so that was a little whack, but still, censorship gets under my skin quite a bit, and I think it's so stupid how like in your face it was, and how obvious. They didn't even try to pull it off in a tasteful way or anything like that. It was just directly in your face with this stupid, you know, streak of a shadow, or fill the entire screen with this black streak or whatever. It was so stupid, and it really killed it for me because I honestly hate censorship with a burning passion, but I guess that's kind of a thing in anime, and there's nothing you can do about it, and I've honestly ranted enough over it, so let's just get past this point of the video. Just know, I hate me some censorship. This stuff sucks. All around, I thought Akudama Drive was a pretty good anime, and it was a solid watch. That, for the most part, kept me captivated within the story and the characters, and I know I didn't really touch on the characters in this video, but they are all pretty good, and I'm saving that for a future video, but I for sure would suggest giving Akudama Drive a watch if you're into some sci-fi action stuff. You could also kind of relate it to something like the Cyberpunk Edgerunners anime. Kind of, not really, but there is a little bit of crossover there where it's somewhat similar, but not too much. I can't flat out say it's like Cyberpunk Edgerunners because it's not, but you know, this kind of cyberpunk sci-fi world, those are kind of the same, but I think that's where most of the similarities end. And that's honestly about it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Akudama Drive down in the comments. Check the description for all my links, and I'll drop a synopsis for Akudama Drive down there as well. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.